But here we go with another conversation about whether the players care, whether it's tanking or load management. And then this is a conversation about the NBA All-Star Game. Are players, do they take pride in this conversation where they're kind of pissed, they're bristling at having fans wonder if they care? Is that a conversation amongst players, Ramona?
Yeah, and listen, I'll tell you about some of the players I know. Like, Jason Tatum is a guy. I know he's out right now with his Achilles, but he wants to play every night. And I know there are times where they'll look at the schedule and they'll go, you know what, we got 5 and 7. Why don't you sit one of those out? And he's always kind of trying to fight his way back into the games. There's certain Giannis the other day, he was saying, I'm 100%. I feel 100%, but I understand I have to take a little while to ramp up because I have his history of calf injuries. But he wants to play, and you can tell it bothers Victor Wembanyama, right? When he lost, you saw him. He was like getting mad about a defensive adjustment at the end of an All-Star game, right, or the All-Star quarter or whatever it is. Some of them care. But I think the overall question, and something Adam Silver said really resonated with me, Rich, was at the end of his press conference, I forget what the first question was, but he got onto one of his tangents or something that he'd obviously been thinking about for a while. And he goes, when we first did the lottery, the idea was everybody understood that it's short, you have to put aside sometimes your short-term interest for the long-term health of the game. And when the NBA was kind of still not quite as healthy of a league as it is now, when they were still trying to prove like, hey, we deserve to be on primetime. We deserve these kind of billion-dollar TV rights deals. All the partners, the 30 owners, they all kind of understood, like, we're in this together. We all have to focus on the long-term health of the league. The league is really healthy right now, right? The league they just got this gigantic TV rights deal. It's financially, it has probably never been healthier. And so that's when it's harder to focus on the long-term health of the league and the overall quote-unquote good of the game when your short-term matters more to you, right? The long-term's been taken care of. Everybody else, sacrificed and built this league for what it is right now. And so I think Adam's just got to find a way to incentivize people to care about the long-term. And to me, fixing the lottery, it's pretty easy. You have to just disincentivize tanking. You have to incentivize competition. And so I think Adam already gave you a hint in what he said. He said, I'm not so sure the bottom 8 teams are actually the worst teams because there's such an incentive to tank. So people are throwing games, right? They're sort of doing the kinds of overt behaviors to lose, so that the teams at the very bottom aren't necessarily the worst teams. So he kind of already told you, I think they're probably going to flatten the lottery odds. Like, it sounds like it's this idea that you have to have the worst record to get the best pick. They just got to disincentivize that. Just take that away. Like, so whether that's the bottom 8 teams all have the same amount, whether that's, maybe we go back to having just the 8 playoff teams in each conference. And so there's 14 lottery teams. Maybe that all have the same odds. As long as you disincentivize tanking, then you'll take it away. But if you're trying to punish teams by fining them, I don't think it's going to work. It's a carrot and stick situation, right? I generally think carrots work better than the stick. Well, and I think in this case, that's where Adam is too.
Wouldn't you say, though, like, I guess then that might fix tanking this early, which is what we're seeing for the first time, right? Where teams are fined in February pre-All-Star break for tanking. That's a new wrinkle. But if you flatten the odds, Ramona Shelburne here on the Rich Eisen Show, if you flatten the odds, wouldn't a team basically say, I don't want any part of a play-in tournament as being a 10 seed just so I win 2 games to get my clock cleaned by the Oklahoma City Thunder? You're just going to tank to then, right? I mean, just to get the flat odds are still better than the odds of just making the playoffs and giving your fans a couple extra reasons to hope for about a week before they're dashed in a 5-game series. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Yeah, it would disincentivize playing for the play-in, right? Those 2 spots that they carved out. So I think there is a formula that will work. And I think they are debating. Look, if you want to talk carrot and stick, the carrot would be, okay, we're going to flatten the odds, and so you're disincentivized, to tank, but you're incentivized to keep competing, right? The stick would be, the punishments are not going to be in the dollar amounts. It's going to be in draft picks. It's going to be in something that's really going to hurt you. Whether maybe that's taking away money from a salary cap, maybe it's taking away a future second-round pick or a future first-round pick. There's other things they can do that doesn't have to be that extreme. Like you could you could take away the ability to put protections on picks, right? So some of these picks are so highly protected. People go, I like the best one I love is with the Indiana Pacers and the Clippers, where the Clippers have the Indiana Pacers pick if it falls 5 through 9 in this year's draft, right? So Indiana keeps it if it's 1 to 4, and then if it's 10 to 30, but 5 to 9, the Clippers get it. So it's so hyper specific that last week of the season, you're going to be looking at those every single Pacers game, seeing if they're trying to hit the over or the under on that one. I think that's actually pretty bad for the game because it is. It's too obvious what teams are doing. It's too obvious, and the incentive for them to lose is too obvious. And so what if you just said, we're not putting protections on picks? You're either giving up a future first or you're not. It's unprotected. And I think that would stop a lot of this. Plus, it would also make people never want to trade first-round picks. But everything is on the table. Everything's on the table. Because I think Adam understands the NBA is 75 years in. Nobody's incentivized to think about the long-term health of the game because it is really healthy. And so that's his job now because it's too easy for everyone to just kind of worry about themselves right now.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.